Welcome back, my people. Marvel Rivals is the new hero shooter that is currently in its closed beta. The beta gave us a bunch of characters to play with, and I know people stepping into the game for the first time will want to know which characters are the best and which aren't so good. So look no further. Today's video will be a tier list giving my thoughts on the relative strengths of each character. I want to start off by saying that this is not a definitive guide and all the characters are still very good. Any character can carry any game. They're all really good, so don't take my word as gospel. So if I put a character in a lower tier, it doesn't mean they're bad by any means. At the end of the day, this is a closed beta, so just play who you want and have fun. Finally, with this being a very new game and it being a closed beta, things are going to change when the game comes out and the meta develops, but don't worry, I'll have you guys covered when that time comes. That being said, I'll go through each of the roles, and below in the description will be timestamps for you to find which role you're looking for. Now for Vanguard. For those that have played Overwatch, this is essentially the tank role, high health characters with high damage abilities. So we're going to start with the Hulk. For me, he's honestly the most underwhelming character in the game. When you think of the Hulk, you think of the force of nature, something to be scared of, but he doesn't give off that aura at all. I don't think his abilities fit for who he is. Radioactive lockdown shouldn't be a one target projectile, it should be an AoE attack, so it fits with his character more. They also should add a kind of smash attack after his leap. It's literally an iconic move, Hulk smash, but it's not present in the game. So unfortunately, he gets outperformed by the majority of characters, all of the characters in the same class. So for me, he's going in the D tier. Next, we have Venom. Easily the best character in the game, one of the best characters in the game. High DPS, high survivability. He's literally the ultimate dive character. He's definitely overtuned though, I will say this, so he's probably not going to be as strong as he is now when the game officially comes out. But I think he will still be very strong nonetheless. Easy top tier character, S tier. Magneto, I think he's a little bit underrated. He brings a lot to the team, and his ability to team up with Scarlet Witch is very good, and it hits very hard. He excels at being a bullet sponge, and if you utilize its cooldowns correctly, you can negate a lot of incoming damage. His primary fire, good. His secondary fire, he deals with targets that are getting in your face really well. He easily goes in A tier. Penny Parker, very strong character that really excels at crowd control, and when in the right hands can completely alter the course of a game. Her cyber bond ability is very good at getting yourself out of tight situations, as it will pull you back to the anchor point if you stray too far. Overall, a good character to play with. I'll put her in the B tier, as there are some better options. Doctor Strange is one of the best Vanguards when it comes to dealing with incoming damage. His massive shield can take a lot before it finally breaks, and you can have a lot of fun with his portal ability. He excels at capturing space with the team, so it's best to utilize him in a coordinated team to get maximum benefit. I'll put him in A tier. Groot is also a very good Vanguard. His primary attack is a bit limited in range, but his ability to create walls to funnel the enemy into choke points and control the map is what makes him so strong. His Spore Bomb is a nice addition, and it gives you some decent AoE as well. It's well worth considering him in your overall team composition, and given his team up ability with Rocket Raccoon, you can completely catch enemies off guard and make you a force to be reckoned with. Easy A tier for me. Thor is a very interesting character to play as. By consuming Thor Force, you are able to use abilities, and he's a really good brawler. The key to playing him is keeping Awakening Rune up as much as possible to make him tankier, and so you dish out a lot more damage. This makes him a little bit vulnerable if you're unrivaled with his positioning, so make sure you keep in mind where your team is, and if you do ever run into trouble, you can use Storm Surge to get out of there. So I'm going to put him in A tier. Now we're going to start with the Duelists. This is like the DPS category. They're pretty versatile and they're your main team source of damage, but each character has their own unique twists and they play differently. Storm is the best aerial attacker in the game, and she has amazing utility. She really shines as a character that can buff her teammates with weather control. So when you're ready to push, you use the speed boost to close in on enemies, and then you switch to the damage boost to buff your team and wipe out the opposing team. So dominant force in disguise, easy S tier. Punisher is strong, and while his guns are powerful, he only really has one hard hitting ability, which is his turret. I think he's outclassed by other characters, because if you isolate him and he's just on his own, now you could, even if he's not just on his own, if you're close range to him, he's easy fodder. So overall, I'd say he's decent, but he doesn't really have anything that makes him stand out to me, so I'm gonna put him in C tier. Hela is one of the most powerful duelists in Marvel Rivals. She's got incredibly high damage at long range, making her lethal on any map. Her primary attack is where she fires the Night Sword Dawn, and it deals some heavy headshot damage to players and eliminates them in like 2 or 3 shots. While this does require you to have good aim, which I suck at because I'm not a native PC player, I've moved from controller, she's undeniably a very, very good character. A tier. Black Panther is the most underrated character in the game. I see too many people calling him garbage, and he's just a terrible character, but he's incredibly good at picking off enemies. He's kind of like a hunter character. If you pair his spinning kick ability with sprint rend, it's like an improved version of Genji's Swift Strike, and if you use it correctly, you can basically spam it over and over again until the enemy team dies. So this makes him a massive threat to the enemy team, so I'm gonna put him in the A tier. Magic is also one of the best characters in the game. Her playstyle is very, very fun. You play her like you're not scared of anything. You just dive in and just mess everything up. You just go in and swing that sword, and as you're swinging that sword, you're gaining bonus health as well, so you can tank a little bit more damage and stay in the fight longer. And if you are ever in that tough spot that is inevitable to happen, you can use the teleport to get out of the situation. Amazing, amazing, amazing character. S tier. Iron Man is one of the easier characters to play in the game, and he's definitely geared towards newer players, but that doesn't take away from the fact that he's kind of a sleeper. He's an aerial target, so you can split team's focus, so it greatly aids your team in like pushing the payload. If you use him at long range, you can just play behind your vanguards, and that's where you really get the profit from Iron Man. He's not really a front focused character, so play him in the back behind your vanguards, and then you'll really start to see the benefits of him. His armor overdrive buffs the damage of all his abilities, so make sure you're keeping that up as much as possible. Really solid character, but there is the better aerial option with Storm, so I'm going to put him in D tier. Spider-Man is a very difficult character to play, and he has an incredibly high skill ceiling. The key to playing him is staying back until the enemy is low health and diving in with his get over here. Once you've tagged them, you finish them off with the amazing combo. Some say his difficulty is what makes him bad, but that's just a skill issue in my opinion. I've had no issues with him, and I'm no top 100 player, so he's definitely very good. A tier character. Star-Lord is the best flanker in the game. High DPS guns catch enemies off guard, and they can gain you some easy kills. All his abilities are movement based, with the exception of Blast the Barrage. All these abilities help him get out of tough situations, and his ultimate is very good as well. But I think the fact that he announces it for all the world to hear definitely takes away from his usefulness. You can kind of just hide away until his ultimate ends. So all in all, he's a pretty solid character. I will put him in E tier. Scarlet Witch is another easy character to play, definitely geared toward new players. Her primary attack is basically just point and click, like that's it. It's like Moira, which is it's perfectly normal to have in a hero shooter. I can't really say much about her. She's just really strong, a good ultimate, but it can be interrupted with stun abilities like Lunar Snow's Freeze. She has very high DPS and usability. A tier. Namor, in my opinion, he's garbage. He goes in the bottom tier. Okay, he isn't that bad, but he's definitely the weakest duelist, as his kit doesn't really have that good damage options. I don't really know how to categorize him, as he doesn't really seem like a fully fleshed out character like the others. Nonetheless, you can perform decently with him, so he does stay in the D tier. Now I'll go into the strategists. These are arguably the core of the team, giving out heals and helping the team to stay alive. They're an integral part of any team. Loki is an incredibly strong healer with a really interesting kit. His ability to use clones that can use his abilities is insane. He can also go invisible, which gets him out of a lot of tough situations. Very good at his role and has a nice ultimate that fits the character, with basically stealing the form of anyone you could see, including your own teammates. Easy A tier for me. Rocket Raccoon is in kind of a weird spot for me. He feels like he should be in the Duelist category, but he can heal, and he also has the ability to revive one teammate at a time, as well as provide armor for the team. He's very reliant on the position of his utilities, as they can be destroyed very easily. His key standout is that he has synergy with other characters like the Punisher by giving him infinite ammo and faster fire rate, and Groot, as you can get on top of him and do whatever you need to do. Keep in mind though that for as good as his utility is, he's very mechanically reliant on you, as you'll need to have good aim and resource management to play him well. I will put him in the C tier. Now, Mantis is very good. She can provide your team with healing and damage boost at the same time. However, what really makes her shine compared to the other strategist characters in the game is that her healing and other abilities can lock onto your teammates instead of you requiring to aim at them. This makes her very good for new players, but you do need to balance her healing with her primary file, as critical hits do grant life orbs. These life orbs are necessary to use her healing and other abilities, so I'm going to put her in the S tier. Luna Snow is by a pretty big margin, in my opinion, the best healer in the game. Her ultimate is effectively an immunity field unless the opposing team manages to dish out a large chunk of damage in a very short space of time to eliminate her. An easy pick for teams that need a strong healer who can dish out damage. She's perfect for those that don't want to feel like they're just rooted to being a support and want to play a bit of a more offensive role in their team. S tier. Despite lacking mobility and crowd control, Adam Warlock's playstyle is a lot more forgiving than the other support characters, as he's able to resurrect himself and his teammates. Upon death, Adam's regenerative cocoon allows you to float in the air briefly to reposition yourself before you get brought back to the fight. His primary fire does a lot of crit damage, so when you're not healing, use it to poke at the enemy team. Due to the lack of mobility, it is wise to play deep in the backline or use high ground. Pretty good character, so I will give him A tier. Now, to finish off, we have Jeff the Landshark. He's incredibly fun to use. He has a good amount of sustained healing and deals a large amount of damage too. His healing bubble is really good because it buffs all healing of the person that goes through it, and his total healing may not be as high as the others, but it can help with healing in bursts, so I will put him in the A tier. And there you have it. Do you guys agree with the rankings? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more content. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.